here with Jess Warren from Rockland County Times. I am Yael Zola. I'm the Director of HR for Pathway to Peace.
And I'm Tiana, and I'm HR Coordinator. And here we have
Jess Warren once again, and I'm so excited to just be here with you guys and learn more about Pathway to Peace.
And Jess is representing
Rockland County Times,
and we're so glad to have her here.
So yeah, I wanted to ask first and foremost, when did you guys originate? Like, how did you?
So let me tell you the story. We're going to tell you a little bit about two different companies that are here in our building. I mean, this is our beautiful building. We have a lot of office space here. So there are two different companies that work together in our business. The first one is called the Derech Shalom Center. We refer to it as Pathway to Peace. It means the same thing. Derech Shalom means the way of peace. So it's Pathway to Peace. Pathway to Peace started out as a case management organization for families going through crisis. What the crisis was really depends, but majority of our crisis was couples going through divorce and how it affected their families. In dealing with families that are dealing with divorce, we started noticing a trend. There's a lot more going on in the divorce than just we're done in this marriage. There's a lot more. There's bigger issues. There's mental health issues for the parents. There's mental health issues for the children. The children are struggling because of the divorce. There's fighting in their home. There's tension. There's unease. Their lives are not settled. And because of that, they are also going through problems, whether it's in school, at home, or even in their own friendships. They are struggling a lot. Because we kept noticing the trends, we saw that there's a need to address them. People aren't addressing these issues. That's how we ended up creating an Article 31 mental health clinic. It's a clinic where we're able to help not only children and adults who are going through divorce, but people who are going through all types of mental health issues. Meaning that when we started, we focused on divorce. But the second we opened a door, the problems kept flooding in. Everyone had bigger issues, and it wasn't just a divorce. It was depression, anxiety. There's some type of history of trauma. Someone can't maintain relationships. They can't maintain friendships. They can't maintain jobs. Why? We kept delving in deeper and deeper to say, what's going on here? Why is this marriage falling apart? Why is this family falling apart? And that's why we just started seeing more and more issues. So that's why we opened up the mental health clinic Pathway to Peace, to address these issues and to be able to service people who are going through mental health crisis. Right now, our clinic has cases that run from all gamuts, from anxiety, ADHD, depression, divorce, couples counseling, marriage counseling. We do family therapy, group therapy. We do sometimes court-mandated therapy, supervision, visitations, all different types of things. Once we started with the mental health clinic, we've also noticed that the family itself is just not in a functional place where they're able to maintain their financial statuses, their housing. The children are struggling. So we then invited into our building Serenity Community Care, which is a health home care management company, which is basically case management for people who are going through different issues in their life. So generally what happens, it doesn't have to go in this order, but we find it goes in a lot in this order, that people are coming for therapy. Their therapist is saying, I see there's a lot going on in your life. You need a lot more help. I'm here to help you. I'm here to guide you. And I can only guide you to a certain point because I can't give you all the answers. A lot of things you need to figure out on your own. A lot of the things I, as a therapist, am only allowed to say, we're going to work together to find the solution, but I can't provide the solution. So therefore, we partner with Community Care, who's able to actually help with the solution and say, you're struggling with housing. We're going to work together on housing. You're struggling with finances. We're going to work together on different types of financial aid. Your child needs someone to look up to. Your child is struggling socially, emotionally. These are services that you can get for your family in order to help them further. So we can go into in details about what each one does, but that's how it basically started.
Right.
There was a huge need. Nobody was addressing it. We decided we needed to address it. So It started from the way that divorces worked to the fact that everybody is struggling, and we need to be able to help more people.
Yeah, exactly. In all different types of aspects. And like you said, I've heard different situations about someone goes to therapy and turns out that they have more than just one, like a comorbidity of issues, and they need more additional help. And Tiana showed me around here, and it seems like you guys offer so much of that. And, what year did it start?
2021. So in this building, 2021, Before that, there was a little bit of case management for divorces in New City around 2020. But they actually purchased this building in 2021, and that's when the actual mental health clinic started.
So 3 years in expansion.
Yep.
Seems like you guys have a lot already.
But there's just so many services that the community isn't aware of. And so that's why we wanted to invite you here, because we want to be able to communicate to everybody, this is available to you, because I think that that's the problem right now is people don't know that there's resources here to help you solve these issues that are maybe in addition to whatever mental health issues might be suffering from. So we're trying to get the word out because people need this, and communities don't grow unless we support each other.
That's amazing. Yeah. And you guys are in a really great location.
Yeah.
You know,
close to everything.
Right.
The idea is why they brought, the reason why we bought this mansion is because it looks like a home. And the idea is that therapy should be feeling like at home. You should feel comfortable. You should feel relaxed. You should have a positive environment where every therapy room is warm, friendly, cozy, beautiful couches, beautiful fireplaces. Yes. It shouldn't be very clinical, very rigid, here's a white room, sit down, talk in a white room. This is more very, very warm. It is a building that used to be someone's home. Yeah. And it is, it does give that very warm feeling. Additionally, because we also want to offer the people the at home and the warmth, we actually do telehealth, which means that they can do over Zoom from the comfort of their home, from the comfort of anywhere. And another thing that we actually started doing is in-home services, where therapists are able to go into someone's home if that's something that they need in their service plan, saying that I can't make it for a Zoom, I don't have the technology, I can't make it to the building, I have a small child, I have some type of reason why I can't make it to either the building or telehealth. Can a therapist come to my home? And that's something that we're willing to do.
Yeah, that's very accommodating, you know, especially if someone's like uncomfortable with, you know, stepping out of their house, you know, at least they have that, you know, provided for them.
Well, we also found circumstances where just people maybe don't have the transportation, or the transportation isn't available at the time that they're looking for services, as well as maybe somebody with a disability that makes them homebound. They shouldn't be losing this resource and this access to something because of those limitations that they may have from a condition.
That exactly. Okay, so I also wanted to ask too, how many team members do you guys have? I mean, that might sound like a complex question, or like,
so it's very interesting because we have a very big mix. We have field staff, which means that either they're therapists who are working remotely, or we have care managers who are working remotely. And then we also have in-office staff who are just managing all the cases and making sure that they're going well. Our facility has a clinical manager, a clinical director who are just overseeing all the cases to make sure that they're progressing in the right way and to give guidance to all the therapists. I would say right now we have roughly about 40 to 45 therapists who are working. And in community care, the care managers right now, they have roughly 30 care managers who are actively working, but they grow every day.
And what do you think makes you guys such a unified team with so many members a part of it? Like, how do you guys work out? You know, similar, how do you guys work out, you know, things that may not work out for you guys? Like, how do you...
So the collaboration aspect, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So we have heavy communication between everybody and all the different services we have. So like, for example, if somebody comes in seeking services for an adult and maybe we don't have that particularly here in this office, we're offering it somewhere else. We always communicate with them, and we make sure that we have our intake team getting all the information they need, scheduling those appointments. We do offer it here, but I'm just saying in a hypothetical situation.
Right.
So I would say we work very collaboratively because everyone on our team is really, really focused on helping their patients. So they actually go the extra mile to make sure that their patients are taken care of. So whether that means making sure that they coordinate with the intake team that the schedule is set, or that they're not sure how they could further help the patient, then they would go back to the clinical manager or clinical director and say, this person's struggling here. Do we have a referral? Do we have someone in the network? Do we have someone we know who can help them here and here? We really do communicate really well. A lot of, we use a lot of different communications. Everyone calls, everyone has different emails. obviously we maintain HIPAA and actually don't communicate any actual personal information to anybody that's not relevant. But within the team will discuss anything that's relevant with their clinical manager, with their supervisor, and say, do we have something I can refer this patient to who needs more help? Do I have something? And then they would say, okay, here's the phone number to the patient. You can call. If you would like, I can give your phone number to the person and not give them exactly what you need to know. For HIPAA issues,
Right.
they would then say they can call you if you'd like.
Yeah. And, and I think that's also why it's so important to have unique specific roles, because if one person can't do something, then another person who has more expertise can step in and do that. And that also opens up another question, which would be, how, like, you both can answer this, like, how did you find your passion in healthcare? Like, what led you guys here? If you both want to answer that, and don't have to go into depth about it. But
I've been working in healthcare since I was 16. I've been always in healthcare. I never wanted to be anything medical. I'd never wanted to be a doctor or a nurse, but I knew that I loved healthcare. So I've been always in the business side of it, where I've been managing HR, director, all these things. But I love healthcare. I love helping people. I just don't want to actually have to save a life and touch people and vomit and blood and all that fun stuff. Not my thing.
I get it.
But
from afar,
from a distance.
Yeah, but
good.
you do what
love
you
it.
can. Exactly. Whatever you're comfortable with, as long as you're helping others, you're making a difference, that's the best thing. So that's amazing.
So I started out, I had actually done a semester of nursing, and then I was like, this is not for me. And I chose to get a degree in biology because I thought I wanted to go with the physician assistant. And then after going through my own health issues and the pandemic, I was like, I want to handle something from more of an administrative level where it had a greater impact, because I felt like nursing was more direct, like it's only who you encounter, who you make the difference for. So I chose to go back to school and get my master's in public administration in health services management. So this allowed me to really have an impact on a grander scale. So everything that I'm doing at this level is not helping just one, but many.
Right, exactly. And, you're expanding and you're able to, reach out to more people than you ever thought you would have been able to do. So that's kind of how you guys find a great collaboration here, I'm sure. And you just started, right, recently?
Yes, love it. I love it.
Yeah, Tiana is amazing. We really love having her on our team. She's been able to help a lot and really help actually us make different connections around Rockland, because we're here in Rockland and people just don't know. It's a problem that people don't know.
And I mean, she reached out to me, so
I know. I was like,
and we know each other.
Somebody here. I was like,
yeah,
she's got all this information. She has this experience. She has the ability to get the word out there, and that's what the problem is the word is not out there. And it's like, how do we tell everybody that we're here and that we're available? It's I want to show them that it's a resource that they can access, and I think people, because they don't know about it, don't know that it's there.
And and I think it's an amazing, especially when people or so many families are going through divorces, so many, not even just that,
Yeah, it's just even children, preteens, like, in my own family, like there's, going through the adolescence and the hormones, there's so many things. It's just, it can impact anybody at any point in their life. And it can be whether you have an issue, whether you're going through a dynamic change with a family, or you're just having a good moment and you need somebody to talk to and be that outlet. And that's what we want to be able to offer to people.
Yeah. So we can do mental health. We also have psychiatrists. So we do psychiatry, which means medication for people who need some type of medication.
Right.
We accept all insurances. We see all ages, 0 through 100 plus. We don't mind. Well, actually not 0 because they don't talk, but we do play therapy. Therapy starts as young as 3 years old, where they do a lot of therapy with sand and toys and drawing and very expressive, and it was able to help a lot of kids. They have all different types of modalities of therapy that really are able to help different people in different ways, and we are able to help as many people. That's the goal, just to make sure that people know and they can reach out if they need help, if they need a therapist to talk to for grief counseling, for going through a hard part, even if it's not a hard thing and they're anxious, or they just need somebody to talk to and be completely unbiased and listen to them. And everybody needs someone to talk to. Everyone needs someone to listen.
Right. It doesn't matter what you're going through. If you're going through something, you deserve to feel seen and heard.
And sometimes getting that outside perspective is beneficial, especially when you're trying to navigate life, which can be, a roller coaster for many people. So it's just nice to have that.
Yeah, and also prevent from future, thoughts and negative thoughts and, other things that can come out of not getting help.
Right.
It's able to kind of like, it's a great thing to be able to tackle that before it gets worse.
Absolutely.
And it's also great too that like if someone's not comfortable with, taking medication, they have other options, Right. So, yeah. But all right. So another thing, about evolvement, and, I'm big on that. I'm big on, improving yourself. And even if it takes a long time, like as long as you're taking baby steps towards what you want to achieve. So I wanted to ask, how do you feel yourself evolving as a person into your role here? Like, how do you feel like you're helping other people, but how do you feel about yourself when you are helping those people? How does it make you feel? Or
it's definitely really nice to know that you're actually working in a place where you're able to help people. You get a lot more job fulfillment and you leave your work a lot happier when you know that everything you do is towards helping other people. And I personally think that every time I know that we're helping other people, that I feel like I'm growing myself. I feel better about myself. I'm saying I'm able to contribute to someone else's improvement, to someone else's future, not only to their future, but to their children's future and to a future for everybody around them, because this person is happier, this person's positive, this person is going to then contribute somehow more and more to the community. So I definitely feel very positive in that I'm growing by helping others. And I can tell you that in the 2.5 years working here so far, well, almost 3, that I have evolved already in working and learning and growing here.
I think when you take on a role where you find that purpose, it's like you don't want to let it go. And so I find that my purpose has been to help people, and it's nothing better than doing it not only from an HR perspective when it comes to helping the company and supporting the people in the employment aspect, but also helping as a healthcare company, all the people in the community. So it's like I've hit it from different angles, but I find like I get a sense of purpose from that. Like I get enjoyment, fulfillment. The happiest thing is seeing that smile at the end, the outcome, somebody who's grown and has been like reaching out to you, like, thank you so much. I'm so glad these services are available.
The best part of the day is getting the calls from the families where they say, thank you so much. And we really, really appreciate this. And it really helped us in our day-to-day life. Those are the best part of the day.
Yeah. And, making a difference, it's just showing someone that it's possible to overcome obstacles and just knowing that you're there for them. Just knowing that for someone personally like me, when I was a child, I went through a lot of mental health problems just from a child. And like, I actually didn't get the help I wanted by some people. My parents tried to advocate, but you know what? Mental health, just approaching it wasn't the same back then than it is now. I feel like there's more awareness towards it. And also sometimes they see people that look happy, and people may, like, professionals back then may be like, oh, well, they seem happy, but maybe they're not, And that's why it's important to kind of make sure that people are okay.
There was a big stigma around it, and that's something that we're trying to like take down and like eradicate. And that's why I think speaking and sharing this information helps do that. Every step of the way, like every time we get the chance to make that communication to somebody that this is going to help you, there's beneficial. Why are we not looking at this? Why aren't we considering it? Why can't it be there for everybody? It takes time, and it's not going to take one person, but we're trying every day to help end that stigma, because it's
I would
so
definitely
beneficial.
say there's such a stigma, because I remember growing up in school, there was the weird kid who went for therapy. It wasn't something that everybody did. It was just, this kid's a little strange. They go to therapy. And then all of a sudden, I would say college time started being, everyone has a therapist. Of course I have a therapist.
Right.
I have a therapist I talk to. And then all of a sudden it's changed from therapy is something strange to therapy is something cool, to where nowadays you can hear influencers all over the world saying, well, I spoke to my therapist. And everyone just said, I checked in with my therapist, and my therapist says. But now it's something that is less stigmatized, but still there are people who are scared. And still there are people who are hesitant. And therapy isn't scary. Therapy is not someone telling you what to do. Therapy is not telling you, micromanaging you. Therapy is, I need a way to figure out what I need and how I can grow and how I can have the tools to best support myself and to be able to navigate my struggles on my own. It's someone who's going to be there to help you and guide you and hold your hand and not put you down and listen to you in a way that is actually supportive. So everybody needs that. even if there's no issues going on in their life, they need a person who can be supportive of them, because everyone needs that type of outlet.
Right, exactly. And I also feel like some people are afraid to go to therapy for that reason. Also just stigmatizing themselves. I mean, I went through that, just stigmatizing and feeling like maybe even just trying to ignore that something's happening because they, I didn't want to believe it, but you know what? They're important. Issues tend to come out the more you don't take care of them. So,
Absolutely.
it's amazing that you guys are able to kind of, bring awareness to that it's, it is not a bad thing to get therapy. And I actually know some people who are afraid to go to therapy because they felt they'd be judged by a therapist. And that's not the case at all here.
No, definitely not. Our therapists are the most accepting, easygoing people. They're never going to judge anybody. They're here to give guidance. They're here to give support. They're here to help you figure out where you're struggling and help you with tools so you can avoid the struggles or cope through the struggles and figure it out on your own, that you can work and say, I'm in a situation, my therapist is not here right now with me, but she gave me the tools, or he gave me the tools that I know now what to do in this situation so that I won't panic. I won't shut down. I won't shove myself in a box and not interact. I know now, because I have these tools that my therapist taught me, that I can do this. I can handle this. I can do this. I'm confident. That's really what a therapist will do.
Offering those coping skills and things like that.
I would tell you that.
And sound advice.
Patients from before they started therapy to after leaving therapy are much more confident, much more self-assured, much more able to handle different things on their own. And they do have a much bigger sense of self-worth. Self-worth.
Yeah.
They really do.
Sure. And I noticed, when Tiana was giving me a nice tour, there's music rooms. Like I saw a bunch of guitars, and I feel like, I know music therapy can really be beneficial. So
we have amazing music therapists. They do piano, guitar, a little bit of drums. Not so much just because we don't want to disturb other people in sessions, but we try to do the more tame instruments that won't bother anyone else. But we do some drums, but a lot of guitar, a lot of piano, a lot of art therapy too, a lot of toys, different things that help people.
And we just started with the animal therapy. We started collaborating with Hudson Valley Paws for a Cause, which is a team of volunteers here in Rockland County. And what they do is they have volunteers who have had their dogs trained to be therapy dogs. And so now we are arranging like a relationship where if there are children receiving services here and they would like to have a dog present, we try to make it happen and offer that kind of calming opportunity for this child during their sessions, because it can be very stressful. And so it's relief for them, and it's something that can take away the stress of just going through maybe a court mandated service.
Yeah, and that's, actually near here at RCC, I heard about, service dogs and just pets in general that go to, they help the students that are going through stress at school.
I remember during our finals week that they did have therapy dogs present. So it's great to just make this available to all people, whether it's adults or children, and really give them that chance to kind of like change the environment even more so.
Yeah. And another question has popped up too. So say there's a new client here, they come in and, they want to get like, therapy here. So how does that process work if you want to kind of explain it to somecket that's interested? And
so generally what they do is either call in or there's a form online. They need to fill out a registration packet. It's basically their basic information along with their insurance card, where they fill out, their name, date of birth, social insurance, what they need, what hours they're available, what type of therapy they're looking for if there's a specific issue. Then they speak to the intake team that just basically does a 5-minute phone call with them and says, tell me a little bit about what you're looking for, what type of issues that you want and your schedule, and then they match them up with a therapist. Once they get matched with a therapist, they are going to meet their therapist then for all the sessions. Some are in person, some are Zoom, depending on what it is. If it's in person, they're coming here into the building. Their therapist greets them by the waiting room. And then they go into session and they just meet their therapist, and their schedules. Usually most people do every week. Some people do bi-weekly, meaning every other week. Yeah. But most people are coming in each week. And then they continue with their therapist for as long as they need. And the registration packet is really easy. It's just basic paperwork. Once your paperwork is filled out, your insurance card is out on it, you get matched with a therapist pretty much right away.
Yeah.
It's a very simple process.
And we try to be accommodating to all schedules. So like we have services here that go to almost 9 o'clock at night and on Sundays and during the weekend so that it's available for people when it's convenient for them. Because we know people are working, kids are in school. So we try to make it something that is always accessible. And we are just trying to grow that
We're
accessibility.
open pretty much 24/7.
Oh, that's amazing. So
Yeah.
like if someone wants to come in at like 9 p.m. or
They would just schedule with the therapist. If the therapist is available at 9 p.m., then yeah. At nighttime, we have security here, and just in case people are nervous. So there's a security guard at the front door who just,
I saw him.
Yes.
He's very nice.
yes. So we have security guards here at nighttime. During the day, we have reception and different people. The building's active, but after 5, we have security on the premises. But Saturday, well, actually, we do mostly Sundays. We don't really do so much Saturday right now, but it is an option. And people come in. The building is busy.
It's
And
always.
beautiful view, by the way.
Yes,
I looked
it
over,
helps.
I saw the mountains.
Yeah.
It is really, and it's, that's also like very healing in ways,
Yes.
just to see a nice view and getting therapy and bettering yourself.
Yeah, we don't want it
Yeah.
to be a stressful thing. We don't want it to be something that overwhelms anybody. The goal is to make it simple and calm. And that's why we support people throughout the entire process, because we want to make sure that they feel heard as they're trying to get those services as well.
Yeah, that's really important. Oh yeah, I wanted to bring up, your experience. I think it was a few days ago at Grand Central.
Yes.
Definitely
So
wanted to ask about that. Saw some videos.
So the media team and Tiana, they went together do Pathway to Peace promotions where they interviewed people and they met people all over the place and talked about mental health. Tiana could tell you about it because she was there on the ground.
that was very eventful. I walked through the city for 6 hours in some heels. It was great.
Wow.
I had fun. I loved interacting with the public. I loved just getting a perspective of like, what does your community need? Where do you feel like it's lacking? Where can we help support you? Have you heard about these resources? Do you know what's available to people? It's like I said, the big problem is people are just not aware of what's available and resources and the accessibility of it and how accessible it is now. Like we have people who come to your home. We do telehealth. We do in person. If you want to come to our facility, if you feel more comfortable, there's so many different settings that we offer it. And there's so many different environments and locations. Like we can make it adaptable to you and your needs as well as hours and times of day. So we try to communicate to people like this is what we have. So we walked around New York City. We took over Grand Central Terminal. We took over Bryant Park and we paraded around in microphones and we also did a share of kindness. So we had
It was a beautiful initiative. They gave out little cards. She'll tell you about it, but it was so nice.
We gave out little cards and we asked people to write a kind message that we would pass on to the next stranger that we met. And so it was just a chance for people to kind of just share positive energy and positive comments, make people feel good about themselves. That's what therapy is making people feel better. And any way that we can do that, not only as a company, but as just a person on the street every day is what we're trying to do.
That's amazing. What were like most of the reactions when you asked them to pay it forward?
Loved it. They had great big smiles on their face. They're very excited. Some people reshared us on their stories and we were glad to really get the message out there. Something that we did was we had therapy spelled out in letters and we had the people at the top of the Grand Central stairs just spell therapy to the masses below. So it was nice to just be like, hey, no need to fear this.
People didn't even know what they were holding. They just were holding up letters.
No, I went up to them. I was like, we're spelling therapy.
Whose idea was that? Because that was amazing.
That was actually my idea. And the team helped me so much and they prepared me. And
the videos they got were amazing. The content they got
was more to come.
So fascinating. And I love the shared kindness because it's something that we should be doing. Just being nice to people and just passing on always kindness and always being as nice as possible. It's something we're going to continue doing by all our events. And anytime we do any type of marketing or any type of outreach, we're going to always do share kindness initiative.
Right. And, being genuine is a huge part in therapy.
One of the interesting things that they did is share kindness PTP, which is Pathway to Peace, but it also could be person to person. Because you're a person and the other person's a person, you should be sharing kindness. So that's why it's P2P that they're hashtagging.
That's amazing.
We're all walks of life. We're all different types of people. We come from all different backgrounds, different communities, different ages. So we just want to remind people we're all people.
Yeah,
and
it's amazing.
It's nothing to, we have to embrace that and embrace kindness because I think empathy is something that we're lacking in this day and age. And we have to remember, and I don't know if that's from the pandemic or what it may be, but we have to remember to be there for each other.
Right.
Definitely true.
And it's like it's deep down in there for some people. It's just they gotta work themselves out of it.
It's an onion. Let's take off
I'm
the
feeling
layers.
it, right? And no, I could definitely identify with the people to people interaction. I'm a peer advocate, and that's all about having that equal interaction with someone. Not like, oh, I'm above you. It's not about that. It's about I'm a person too. I may not understand what you're going through completely, but I want to. And that's something I really I see you guys doing here. And it makes a huge difference.
Happens to be peer advocacy and peer support is something we also do in our clinic.
That's amazing.
We have different people who have been through different issues in their life, and they're
Right.
able to support a person through whatever it is. So like, let's say for someone to get peer support, they need to be in therapy at the same time, but they can also get a peer support specialist who's been through the same thing as them, whether it's a divorce, whether it's some type of substance abuse issue,
Yeah.
or if it's some type of incarceration. They've been through the same thing and they came out of it, and now they're here to support you and hold your hand so that you can say like, look, I did it, you can do it too.
Yeah, that's huge. And just having that lived experience, and it also helps the person trust you more, knowing, okay, they get it to an extent.
So a peer support person does not need to be a therapist. It can be anyone who's been through the same thing.
Yes.
But part of something that a peer support specialist is supposed to do is to try to encourage the person to be in therapy.
Yes.
They must encourage them.
Yes.
And it's why that we do encourage people to be peer support, because the therapists say, I can help you. I could. And your peer support can help you too. Together, we're a perfect team.
Right. It's how I look at it is a puzzle piece.
Yeah.
Like they fit though. I used to struggle early into my career as one, thinking, oh, I kind of feel like not included, but really you are. You make a huge difference being one.
And it's also just grows the support network. Like, it's great to not only just say you have one person on your side now you have two. And for some people that's everything.
That is everything, right? To feel like you have not.
A lot of people will come for therapy just because they don't have someone. They don't have a network. They don't have a resource. They don't have other people there behind the scenes to support them. And that's part of why they need therapy. And that's part of why they just don't have another person to talk to. And they'll come for therapy, and they'll get the therapist and the peer support specialist. And they'll sometimes just reach out to the intake team because that's a third person they like to talk to. But generally, it's the therapist is someone for them. Their peer support is there. And then they build up a network. They build up and they say, I now feel like I'm part of this community. I want to grow my own community and grow my own network. And they really do benefit a lot.
And does the peer support specialist take them out into the community?
They're allowed to do that. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
They can meet anywhere they want. They can meet at restaurants. They can meet at parks. They can meet in our building. They can really meet anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said, you made a great point about, just being that guide. Of course, not telling them what to do, but more just like, this worked for me, and I know you can do something like that too.
Yeah.
Now, is it mostly children that do come here a lot? It's all
everything.
Aspects.
It's really everything.
Right.
We don't do any specific specialty. Every therapist has their own thing that they like to do.
Right.
We see children, we see teens, we see adults, we see geriatric, we see everything.
Mm-hmm.
And different therapists see even different, like one therapist could see all ages, and some therapists say, no, I like just children, and they'll work with just children. I like to do teens entering adulthood and help them figure out their careers, help them figure out their life. Those are like, everyone is very specialized on what they like, but they're willing to take everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And our therapy rooms are adapted for children as well. So we do have toys available for children who are getting services from us. So we try to make it a setting that everybody can benefit from.
An interesting thing we do, especially with the teenagers, is we have phone boxes where they put their phones in a box when they walk in. And this is a time where I'm just going to talk, and I'm just going to connect with my therapist, and I'm only going to focus on my therapist. And they put their phone in a box on the side, and they don't touch it. They're not allowed to touch it. It's a clear box so they can see it, and they won't get the anxiety if it's gone.
Yes.
But it's there. It's not right there on their lap.
We want them to be present.
Exactly. And that makes a lot of sense. The sign I saw upstairs when she was giving me the tour, it says, eyes up, phone down.
Yes.
Yep.
It's important. I mean, when I was a teenager, I scrolled through my phone like no tomorrow, and that's what's happening in this day and age.
And social media can just be very impactful to the way people feel and their self-esteem. So we want to try and help people avoid that if it's possible, because we don't want to have the negative
Disconnect
effects.
a little bit from
just
their
sometimes
phones
it's not a
Right.
bad thing.
for like 45 minutes.
Yes.
They can do it.
And I'm still trying to do that, you know? It's just something that's hard for a lot of people. And it's great, though, that you guys kind of incorporate teaching and, you know, guiding people to try to avoid that.
Yeah.
You know? So that's amazing. So what other services do you guys provide here?
So besides the mental health clinic that is therapy and psychiatry, we also have Serenity Community Care, which is case management. In case management, if someone has a lot of stuff going on, they usually end up with, I'll show you the page of services. They end up getting help for housing, nutrition support, transportation support, both mental and medical health, mental care, which means they get referrals. They get specialized therapy if they need something specific like OT, PT, ABA. They have case managers who do something called home and community-based services, where they do assessments with a family of if there's something bigger going on. If the therapist is worried that this child is a risk of being either hospitalized, a mental breakdown, there's some type of bigger issue going on.
Yeah.
That's usually when the care manager will step in and say, I'm going to go into the home and do an assessment and say, there is more going on here. They don't have a good network of support. They have at least a serious emotional issue going on, or they have some type of medical issue going on. They need more support.
Right.
That's when they end up with community care, who are going to set them up to get different types of programs, which is home and community-based programs where they can get someone coming into their home directly and being a big brother, a big sister, a mentor, music coaching, animal therapy, karate, child care, cleaning help, food prep, meal prep. The idea is that we want to make sure that this child doesn't have a mental breakdown, doesn't end up hospitalizing, and be a better functioning family unit. That means that we end up working a little bit with the parents and the child so that they can work to be together in a unit and on the same page so that the child can be a functioning adult.
Right.
And just a great member of society by the time they're an adult.
And, you know, it's really huge, you know, preventing hospitalizations from happening. I mean, there's something that I'm getting, you know, familiarized with, and I took a course on. It's called the RAP plan. Well, RAP, because plan's included. It's a wellness recovery action plan. So you identify the stressors, you identify, you know, how you feel when you are doing well. It's just kind of like catching it before it happens. So I think that's amazing that you guys provide that as well.
Yeah, and
with
we
a lot of
adapt it.
accommodations.
And we adapt it to whatever the family's needs are because it's different for everybody.
Each family is so unique. You have one family where the parent is struggling so much that they can't make dinner, so they need someone coming into the house to help the mother make dinner, help the mom learn the skills to make dinner so she can provide for her family. And another family where mom's ready to make dinner, she has no problem with that, but her teenager is depressed to the point where they're almost hospitalized, and then they just need someone to work directly with the kid and connect with them and be a supportive person for that child. It really depends on each family and what they need. And the goal is just to be a community for them that's supporting them in their home and around the area, that we can basically make sure that this person will end up okay.
And what's great about it, it's like with your message, it evolves as they evolve. So if they find that this is no longer something that they're struggling with, but there's something else that they need help with, then we adapt. We find a way to offer that support in a way that's going to benefit them at that point in time. So it's something that grows with them in a way that can help them continue to thrive.
And you always grow through what you go through.
Yes.
Yep. We try to find the people who are working with them who are able to address their issues. Like, let's say, thinking about specific cases, a child who is coming from a point where they have zero contact with their father, we'd usually then send them a very positive male role model, a really positive big brother, so that they can learn the type of things they're struggling. Like, we had a child who was constantly being made fun of in school because he had no father in his life. No one played sports with him. No one taught him basic things that most boys know. And he was struggling and being made fun of a lot. So we sent him a couple of different big brothers who taught him all those basic skills, like all really basic stuff.
Not even just
baseball. They taught him baseball. They taught him football. They taught him a lot of basic things where he was not as made fun of anymore.
And families too that are just struggling to find a balance. Like, how do I eat healthier? How do I manage my chores or the house
Right.
chores for the child's benefit. So it's just so many things that go into it.
Mm-hmm. So do you guys have a nutritionist that comes in, or?
Yeah, it really depends. Some of the families need an actual nutritionist. Like
Mhm.
there's a lot of issues there. Then we would get a registered nutritionist to come and meet them and make a whole meal plan. Some of them, it's not an issue of nutrition. It's more of an issue that function in the home where the parents are not able to actually make the dinner, or they're not sure what actual healthy dinner is. Then we would have someone come into the house and teach them to cook. Then it's not more of a lack of capability. It's more of a, I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. You should learn how to do it.
And
Our goal is to make them learn and not just say, we're giving you all the problems. We're giving you all the solutions. Here's your meal on a plate. No, watch the person, work with the person, learn to cook. What happens if the person doesn't come tomorrow? You should know this skill. A lot of it is skill-based, where we want to teach them a specific skill.
Right. Exactly.
Help them gain something so that they can continue and take that wherever it is they go in life.
Right. And do it themselves and learn.
Right.
Just learn the coping skills and, move forward knowing that and having that knowledge. If you are feeling, you're feeling worse, and you know what to do to kind of catch yourself from feeling that way.
And making sure that those basic needs are met while they do those struggling times, while they go through those struggling times.
Exactly. And another question towards the end, do you guys is there any exciting future plans? Anything you guys are developing right now to kind of, you have a lot.
Stuff,
Yeah.
We're constantly doing stuff.
Right.
A
Well,
lot.
that's good.
We do a lot of outreach.
Yeah.
We do a lot of different events. We go to events. Every once in a while, they'll host an event here in our building, like a conference for different community leaders, or we invite different politicians down, or network, or do a career day
Or
and
seminars.
We do a lot of that.
Mhm.
We are doing constant trainings for therapists, meaning that we invite speakers down, we invite different people down for the therapists to continue their education and continue their career development. And so we always have interesting things happening here. Once a month, we send out a newsletter of a summary of all the different things that happen here in the building, different events that happen, things that will happen. We're going to sometimes we send out a schedule of saying, in the upcoming month, these are a couple events that will happen. These are some trainings that will happen. And if people want, they are actually allowed to ask about them. Some of them are closed just for the people who are here in the building, but some of them people can say, I want to come. Can I pay to come? And it really depends.
Really good to know that, continuing your care.
Yes.
Always.
And I think every day, just like as we learn what the community needs, we see opportunities to help in different ways. So we're always looking for ways to help address issues that are impacting our communities, because it's a shared effort. It takes everybody. It's just like it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a lot of people to build a community to be strong. And it's something that we're trying to do every day, and looking for opportunities to do that so that we can have a strong community, have people that are supported, have people feel heard, and people that are going to listen and things like that. So
yeah. I knew I couldn't do it on my own. You need support. Support's important. Community-based.
agree.
Knowing that other people are going through what you are going through, similarly, it makes you feel comforted.
Yeah.
And to be in this atmosphere, seeing people come in and out, it makes a huge difference. And I'm happy for you guys that continue to grow here and evolve.
Yes.
Evolving every day. And that's, it's, and like you both said, it really fulfills you, and you leave feeling like you really did something, not only for them but for yourself.
Yep, on both a micro and macro level.
Exactly. So I think that was I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
we tackled all areas of getting the word out, and making sure our Rockland community, and just any community, to know that this is available, and that more services like this are expanding.
And we're all over the community, and we're not limited to the community. So we are here for all of New York
State.
That's amazing. And that's actually fitting for, my page, to know that I can reach all aspects, not just, Rockland County area.
Right.
Yeah.
So
anyone in New York State, we can help.
I want to thank you both for, taking the time with me and
Absolutely.
having me.
Thanks for
and
coming.
having me. That's amazing. So.
And I know that we'll do this again.
Yes.
We have a lot of interesting people in our network that you would definitely benefit from meeting.
Yeah, for sure.
We introduced to some, but there's definitely more.
Oh yeah. Keep it going.